Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. I am sitting here with a coffee with a little bit of proper 12 sitting in it. We're coming in hot for UFC Fight Night 137, and this is the podcast. This is Coast MMA. You're tuned in live with your host, Chris, and your co-host, Bryce.
I just want to say, you've got proper 12 and you've got coffee. I fired up my morning on about, I don't even know, maybe 0.2 grams of coffee dust that gave me a little bit of coffee water, so I'm a little off today, if you want me to be perfectly honest, to
I'm just
help
glad
introduce
that you
the
said
podcast.
0.2 grams of coffee dust. I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
Oh, you'd know if it was something else. I'd be a lot more live in the public, if you will. We got the Gatekeeper Fest, known as UFC Fight Night 137. We had a bit of an interesting week, I guess, in terms of UFC drama. It's a slow week, but it was still kind of fun, I guess. We had the Conor and Khabib media event. We had some interesting information about Jon Jones, Daniel Cormier, Mark Hunt, a few things about Luke Thomas. And then, of course, we're going to go over tonight's fight card, UFC Fight Night 137. So, of course,
the night of duds.
The night of duds. Yeah, that's true. You know what? Maybe we should talk about who our biggest dud is of the card. That's a fun one. I know you watched the Conor and Khabib media event this week. We had extensive discussions about it. Of course, we both had different viewpoints and a little bit of a different taste in our mouth after it.
Is that because you don't drink whiskey? Let's just get it out and in public, live and in public. Is that because you don't drink whiskey? Just say it. Just say it.
I just want to say my role model is the lightweight champion. So yeah, I don't drink.
Yeah, see, I go double champ. So anyway, I mean, we offer that. It's not a big thing. But what were you thinking about that media event or press conference?
I mean, it's entertaining, of course, to see something of that spectacle. But like I was saying to you earlier in the week, it's kind of frustrating that I have to watch this spectacle in order to see them fight, or in order there to be an interest in this fight. It can't just be what it is. I mean, Conor's obviously an amazing fighter, Khabib as well. That excites me enough. But when I see the dramatics and the proper 12 and the same shtick and the lines that he pulled out in the MAMAC conference, it was just kind of tiresome to me. And I actually didn't see anyone in the entire media space sharing this opinion with me. So I'm kind of alone on that. But it made me less interested for the event, if anything. I just felt it was unauthentic and unnecessary. But it's big business, baby. They got to sell the fight. Conor McGregor brings in the dollars. They have a proven success record with how they've been marketing him. So what the fuck can I say?
Yeah. So help me out here. I'm trying to break it down, because you got to understand there are a ton of degenerates out there listening. We got 2 viewers live and in public, if you will, right now. So just clarify, you're not into the press conference because you're a casual. Is that correct?
I think I'm too much of an old head. I think that's what it is. I'm cranky.
So when we're talking about Conor, I mean, I wouldn't say that I drink the Kool-Aid, but I understand the business side of it. They got to sell seats, and Khabib's going to sit there like a fucking pylon and not say shit. And I guess because of that, Conor's trying to overemphasize his side of it, try to get some sales, try to get in Khabib's head. I don't think it was as, media centric as people think. I think there is a lot of kind of competitive nature there. I don't think they hate each other, but I also don't really think that what you saw was fake. I think that what you saw was him working his hardest to get inside Khabib's head, get inside Ali Abdelaziz's head, and of course show off his sponsorship, which is the Proper 12, his new whiskey, which if you've read anything about the reviews of it, it is absolute hot dog shit. But anyway, we offer that.
What do you mean? I saw a review by a nice gentleman named Conor Khabib on a forum reviewing it, saying it was the best thing he'd ever seen. So I don't know what you're talking about.
So one place, just on the topic of whiskey, so I can segue into that real quick. The one place that I do think Conor kind of stepped overboard and kind of made himself look like an idiot was the whole trying to force alcohol on a Muslim. I just thought that was pretty, like, it's not even that it was low. It was just like low class, like kind of like, hey, yeah, why don't you drink? Why don't you drink? Like, hey, dude, why don't you fucking come up with a good line and stop blasting that down our throats over the mic? Let him answer something. Anyway.
It's almost one step away from racism. You know what I mean? Maybe in 10 years, that'll be looked at as something that is, a little more controversial than it actually was. But yeah, I totally agree with you. That was an overstep for sure. And I do agree with you that he has to sell the fight. And something that you mentioned about, Ali coming in at the end, Khabib's manager, I think he understood that Khabib wasn't really pulling his end on the drama side because Khabib is an absolute fucking statue. You know, the man's a warrior. He's not interested in that. But Ali understands the business side, and I think that he jumped in at the end to maybe stir up a little more profit. So that's definitely true. Because I mean, the hot take from that conference was mostly about what was said about Ali. You know what I mean? So he kind of took the heat off Khabib. I think that was a smart move by him as a manager. And now, of course, another big piece of news from that conference was the fact that Proper 12 is an official sponsor for the event. So I mean, Conor is.
It'll be on the canvas.
I guess that's how he kind of circumvented not being a UFC owner, or getting stake in the company. You know, they threw him in that lucrative sponsorship deal. So that's kind of cool. I guess I can respect that. I mean, and I should say I don't hate Conor. I'm not a Conor hater. He's only doing what the UFC is allowing him to do, and he's fucking caking from it. So if you want to hate on Conor, hate on the UFC because it's not his fault. He's just maximizing his profit.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, speaking of Proper 12, I wonder why he didn't go with the number 15.
That's a good question, Chris.
Because, I mean, I wouldn't say that 15-year whiskeys are all the rage, but 15 is the magic number of the week, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes. We got some hot 15-month suspensions coming in for Jon Jones. Now, when the fuck has USADA ever done a 15-month suspension? When have they ever not done a suspension of in multiples of 6? I mean, come on. This is ridiculous.
So are you suggesting that they're playing favoritism with someone?
Well, I mean, there's proof in the pudding now, and the pudding is called Daniel Cormier. That wasn't a fat joke. Sorry, Daniel. No pudding.
Oh my God.
Daniel Cormier comes out. Was it today, this morning, you're saying?
Well, I just heard it. Yeah, I heard it from some media source. So I don't know where he actually said it. Is, you know, this is degenerate MMA media. You know, we're not talking about facts and sources and all this kind of bullshit. You know, like, we'll let Luke Thomas, that degenerate, deal with that shit. We're talking about real MMA media here, where we hear it on fucking Sherdog and then we just spew it like it's a fact. So I heard that DC is looking to defend his light heavyweight belt once before he fights Brock, which leads us down the path of, okay, well, if DC fights once more at light heavyweight, who's it going to be? Then we think, what card's it going to be? Then we think, wait a minute, there's a main card that hasn't been called yet, or a main fight on a card that hasn't been called yet. And the current co-main is Dustin Poirier versus, who is it? I forget.
Oh, fuck. You put me on the spot.
Anyway, Poirier versus someone else huge. I'm upset that I can't remember it. And that's stupid. And so, oh my goodness, one of my favorite fighters, Nate Diaz. So yes, it's Poirier versus Nate Diaz. So then you have to ask yourself, okay, well, if those guys aren't big enough to headline, because let's be honest, that would still be one of the year's biggest pay-per-views if they fought. And that was the main card. And the co-main could be the fight underneath that, which is also banging. It's Luke Rockhold versus someone. Anyway, and I'm thinking that would be a perfect place to slot in a Jon Jones, considering he just got a lowered sentence. And then you hear DC saying he wants to, you know, come back at light heavyweight before he fights Brock. And I'm guessing that's just because if Jon Jones came in at heavyweight, it doesn't make sense for him to fight twice at heavyweight. Who knows how that works? I really hope that DC is not going to come in and fight Jon Jones at light heavyweight again before bouncing back up to heavyweight to fight Brock. I mean, Brock's going to be an easy KO there, but at the same time, what do you think? Is there a chance that fight's going to happen?
Well, I mean, I'm 100% convinced now. I mean, if you look at the shady dealings of the USADA suspension, and if this rumor is true about Daniel Cormier, I mean, what else is there? It's all lining up too well. I mean, we all know that Dana White's lies kind of unfold quite obviously and easily. So I think that's what we're seeing unfold before our eyes. And yeah, I do believe that. And I also agree it's a horrible decision for Daniel. He should have let Jon Jones go in the past. Should have just focused on Brock and maybe another big money fight. I know that Jon Jones versus DC, of course, is going to be a huge fight, but I don't know, man. I don't like it. I think he's done enough. He's put in enough work to just leave that behind him. I know he lost the fights, but I mean, man, come on. Think of all the drama, the steroids, everything that's happened in that time. I don't think he owes the fans anything in terms of that matchup, but that's just me.
So then I'm going to put you on on blast here, or no, I'm going to put you on the record. Do you think Daniel Cormier fights his next fight at heavyweight or light heavyweight?
At light heavyweight. I mean, and unless some news comes out that changes what you're telling me here, but this all sounds like typical UFC stuff. I mean, that's usually what they do. They know they want Jon Jones back in there. I think Dana would love to see Daniel lose to Jon Jones, beat Brock, and then be done. I don't know if he's super excited about keeping Daniel around. I don't know if he's a big seller other than the Jon Jones matchup. So yeah, I think it's going to happen.
Now, while we're on the topic of heavyweights, there was a heavyweight fight last week.
Talking about our Samoan boy, Mark Hunt.
Involving none other than our favorite Samoan.
Yeah, I was pretty let down to see him lose, to be honest. He's had a rough road, and I feel like he has to win in order to stay favorable, since he's constantly talking shit about the UFC. I believe he's still in a lawsuit about the Brock Lesnar steroid allegations. I mean, yeah, it's just sad. I don't know. But I mean, hey, at least he's calling out Werdum and was it Tito? Was it Tito? I can't remember who it was.
I don't know, but that Werdum shit was fire. Him saying, go back to the favelas and hope you enjoy your working at a gas station and all that shit. Like, whoo-wee, when he goes off, man. Now, that's a guy who knows how to fucking tear into someone on Twitter. You know what I mean?
That's about right. He is just fucking ripe for Bellator. You know what I mean? He would just be exactly what they need, and he would get paid over there. He could be one of their top 5 fighters, I think. So I don't know, man. Did he have a really long contract with the UFC or something, or does he keep signing? I can't fucking understand for the life of me why he keeps doing it, unless that's his marketing angle. He complains and everyone wants to see the hater go and fight. I don't know. I think he's right for Bellator, though. I say that a lot.
Well, yeah, you do. But at the end of the day, does he, I mean, this is an outspoken anti-steroid guy. Does he even really want to go to Bellator where it's free for all and you have Chael Sonnen, who's basically clean?
Basically clean. That's a good point, actually. I hadn't considered that, since he is so anti-steroid, but maybe he just starts juicing, and if you can't beat him, join him. Maybe he just doesn't have the plug for the good steroids. Maybe that's what this all comes down to. Who knows? Anyways, I just want to mention one more thing, unrelated to the fighting, but the media side of it. I did notice Luke Thomas talking in the MMA Hour about how he has trouble booking fighters and getting fighters to stay consistent with their interview schedules with them, and he's often got empty slots on the show. Now, I'm just saying, once we're as big as Luke Thomas and taking over the MMA Hour, I mean...
Whoa. Are we not? We got one viewer right now who I hope subscribes and hits the bell so they get the notifications next time we go live. But anyway, continue.
Well, it's Luke Thomas watching us getting the hot takes, so he ain't going to say shit. It's not going to happen. But I guess he didn't foster relationships with the fighters early in his career, and now it's kind of biting him in the ass. So it's interesting to see where that's going to go, considering Errol Helwani, built his career off of his relationship with fighters and the plugs and the managers and all that kind of stuff. So my point is, let's be nice to all fighters' names while we're on the come up. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the next Luke Thomas. That's all I have to say about the dramatics of the week. We can move on to Gatekeeper Fest, known as Fight Night 137. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about is Fat Boy Henan Barrow missing weight by 6 pounds. Now, holy fuck, what happened to this guy?
USADA.
Oh, right, of course. KO by USADA, the classic career ender. Man, this guy was on fire. I mean, I was a huge fan of Barrow in my early days of being a UFC fan. He was like Aldo to me in a sense. He was this untouchable Brazilian guy who just seemed to have, all the show, all the flash, everything was there. And holy fuck, yeah, maybe it's been since USADA. Do you have any stats regarding when he started to lose? Is there a correlation between USADA coming into the UFC and
it was about 12 minutes after USADA came in, he started getting KO'd every fucking 30 times per practice, apparently.
Oh my God. Is there actually truth that? Does he get KO'd in practice?
Oh, I have no fucking idea. I mean, I know that I would KO him in practice, but other than that, it'd be really hard to say what exactly is going on. Other than the fact that he is a classic case of someone who had all the wind in his sails, and USADA came along. He shrinks by 30 pounds, looks like a fucking human skeleton, and then never wins another fight again. So what can I say there other than the fact that he got KO'd by USADA? Represent.
He needs to stop hanging out with Mackenzie Dern. I think that's the problem. 6 pounds is a fucking lot of weight to miss. I mean, you're either missing your clenbuterol or you're just not trying. I'm not really sure what was happening there. I'm actually on Google right now, just looking at comparison pics of him before, and oh boy, he had that super dry, veiny steroid look. He was wet to the core with juice for sure. Yeah, it's disappointing. I'd like to see him come back, but there's not much promise for his career if he can't make weight. Dana doesn't like that these days. The next one we were talking about that we both agreed was pretty funny is Sam Alvey versus Little Nog. Who fucking thought this matchup up? What is going on here? Did they just take 2 dice with fighters' names on it and see who hit the face?
Well, that's what I'm gonna say. Someone needs to get Sean Shelby a motherfucking raise because that shit is absolute hot fire. Sam Alvey, smiling Sam Alvey, the pathological smiling guy. I am very much looking forward to seeing him get KO'd here by Lil Nog, who we know is just gonna smoke him.
Whoa.
Right? We know he's going to smoke him, right?
We got you on record picking Lil Nog at plus 275 underdog.
Ooh, is he 270?
He is.
Old fucking dog.
It's just such a funny matchup. Like, let's throw Sam Alvey against him. He could beat a 42-year-old up. Why not? Oh, yeah, he's 42, by the way. Holy fuck.
How old Sam Alvey? I thought he was up there at 39 or 40 as well.
And you might be right.
And by saying that, I have not looked at the motherfucker at all. Let's see where he is here.
He's 32.
Okay, yeah. So he's younger than me. He's going to smoke me. Now, I'm really looking, to be honest, this card doesn't have me super excited. I do like Ronda Marcos. Shout out to Ronda Marcos. Tough winner. Did she get second? I guess she got second. But super tough chick, Canadian chick. She came to TriStar for a little bit, didn't like it, headed back. I think she works at a pharmacy in like Markham, Ontario or something like that. I've been considering stopping in every time I drive by there. But beyond
so she's a
that,
weed dealer now. Okay.
Exactly. Beyond that, there isn't much else that I enjoy or that I'm looking forward to off this card. But Lil Nog versus Smilin' Sam Alvey, I'm into. I got to say, they drew me in for this one.
Yeah, it's a good matchup, man. I don't know why it excites me, but I think it's fun. Now, if this is your favorite matchup, who's winning that? You really think Little Nog is going to beat Sam Alvey?
Hard to say, man. 42 is old. I didn't realize how old that is. And I am like a huge proponent of Father Time coming back to creep in and catch all these motherfuckers.
Well, are you a proponent of ring rust as well?
How long has it been? 2 years?
I think it's 2015 was his last fight.
So that, like, yeah. Oh boy. I don't know about ring rust, man. I think these old dogs that have been around the block a few times, I think they know what they're getting into. And to be honest, I bet Smilin' Sam Alvey does get in scraps outside of the UFC, or did before he was in the UFC. But I bet Nogueira's been in some scraps, man. So I don't think he's going to be too worried about that. I'm not going to be bullish on the ring rust, but I will be bullish on the fact that I think this old dog is going to come and teach this new dog some new tricks. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to come in and show him why he's been around so long, why he's the dude that's able to fight into his 40s. And I think Sam Alvey, when he's come up against this kind of top level competition, I think that's, I wouldn't say he's crumbled, but I just don't think he's performed. I don't think he's able to put his foot down, pedal to the metal, and like kicking into fifth gear to take those wins out from under these tough guys that aren't going anywhere. Now, with that said, Nogueira's head may be an absolute frail eggshell at this point, so it's possible that he gets dinged out, but I'm going to take Nogueira on this just because I've seen him win a lot of times that I thought that he wasn't going to. What about you?
I just wanted to correct myself on that one. Nogueira did fight in November of 2016. However, Sam Alvey's had 7 fights since 2016. So,
oh my goodness! And
dude,
so,
what are
the odds? What are the odds for Sam?
What are the odds for Sam? On my website, we have it. He's a negative 365 under or favorite.
Oh my! A 3.7 to 1 under or favorite. Like if you guys, okay, listen out here. If you guys are true degenerates, you know as well as I do that Nogueira is going to stomp them. So just go ahead and put your money down on the surefire win, the live dog, live and in public, we Nogueira. Anyway, what else do we got on this stupid card?
Got Evan Dunham. I think that's his last fight. You were saying that's another, I guess, interesting little take from this.
Yeah, he's gonna retire after this, and that's a tough fight, man. Evan Dunham versus Francisco Massaranduba Trinaldo. Sorry for butchering your nickname there, Trinaldo. How old Trinaldo? I mean, he looks like he's halfway between 50 and Glenn Bruderall as well.
I don't know. Let me ask his dad, Hector Lombard. He's also on this card. Holy fuck. Talk about a washed card. I'm just looking at Sherdog right now. Jesus Christ. Hector Lombard's on the he's on the early prelims, dude. Poor guy. Every time I see those names where the UFC was trying to tout them as something big on these low level cards, now it's just makes me a little sad, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little too emotional.
Up against Talis Leites as well, who's like another old dog, man. Do you remember seeing him get fucking eaten alive by Anderson Silva, just flopping around on his back like that? Like, come on. I'm ready to see some of these dudes get fucking knocked out and learn once and for all. Yo, it's time to hang up those gloves, son. Damn. They got a couple other fights though on this card that I think are pretty decent.
Yeah. What are you feeling?
Pedersoli.
Pedersoli versus Oliveira.
Yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about him. I know Alex Oliveira has absolutely burned me on a few bets in the past. So every time I see that name, I get a little salty taste in my mouth. But he's a beast. I like his backstory. Should be an interesting fight, I think. I'm actually fairly excited for this card as a whole. It's not bad for a freebie. There's a lot of fun names on there. My prediction is it's going to be a better card than everyone expects, and we're going to come back and go, yeah, you know what? Fight night 137 was pretty hot.
That's always the way it is when they seem like an absolute bust, right? So Carlo Pedersoli, the Mr. Cemento, I think he's from Italy. It doesn't say on the UFC fight or UFC site, which I guess says a lot about how important he is to. But he's 11-1. He's pretty decent. He's got 36% subs, 36% decisions, which I guess 27% KOs. So he knows how to bang, he knows how to sub, and he knows how to, and he's tough because he's going to decision. He's 11-1, man.
Well, I just saw what his third fight was, so I'm gonna pick him now. His third MMA fight was at the Hells Angels Eternal City second Bikes and Fight Night. Holy fuck! Okay.
So he's ready to bang-a-lang, and he probably gotten 4 more paid fights outside in the parking lot as well, where he had strapped a bicycle helmet or a motorbike helmet to his fist as well. But he's up against number 14, Alex Cowboy Oliveira, 18-4. He's got a 61% KO record. So I think why you're saying he's burned you in the past is basically his only chance is to come in and swang and bang. And he does do that. He's swinging lunch boxes, knocking people out. But to be honest, this is the classic case of someone who burns bright, burns hot, but burns fast and is gone pretty quickly, because at some point you have to be able to do more than fucking hooking, overhand, right, left, rock'em sock'em, where you've got no head movement. So what are the odds on that one? Do you know?
Yeah, I'll take a look for you. I kind of like Oliveira as well, because he started out as just a bar brawler that they found outside of some nightclub, I guess. And they're like, do you want to come to the gym and do that instead of beating up these guys outside the bar? And I guess he was just an absolute killer in the gym too. And that's how it all started. He's actually the favorite at -450, which makes sense since Pedersoli has only one fight in the UFC and a very short amateur or pro record as well. So I think those odds are on point. I'm not going to bet on Oliveira though, because boy doesn't want to get burned again.
Yeah,
about that no longer.
Exactly. Once bitten, twice shy, right? Okay, so wait, I'm just going to pull up Pedersoli's. Who was his fight? The split decision win over Brad Scott. Are we talking Brad Scott from the coast? Anyway, if not, then I guess we're going to move on. So you got Oliveira in that?
I mean, yeah. I don't know enough about the other dude to say otherwise.
I'm going to fucking step up and claim this as the fight to next. Whoever wins this, I'm going Pedersoli because I got a feeling about this motherfucker. And whoever wins that fight, if it's Pedersoli, you have to come on and say that I'm the champ. And if it's Alex Oliveira, I'll come on and say you're the champ. And that's how it's going to be.
Easy money. Easy money. Point to the easy work. Okay? We got
Point to the easy. Well, I'll tell you something about easy work. And it's called a right, overhand right that knocks out Oliveira live and in public view wheel right in front of your eyes. It's probably going to be round 2. But anyway, we off of that. We're going on to the main card or fight of the card, which has got to be Conor versus Khabib, right? That's the best fight on this card, is it not?
I thought that's what the UFC was. Just one fight. Is that it?
Yeah, exactly.
The rest of this doesn't even matter. No, we're talking about Thiago Santos versus Eric Anders. Let's
your boy Eric Anders himself.
That's the best nickname in the UFC. I gotta say, that's up there for me. Your boy, come on! How did no one take that?
I know, it's so obvious once you hear it, and everyone's like, "Your boy knows how to knock people out. Your boy's on a winning streak," and you're like, "Okay, I see, that works." Now, speaking of which, your boy's doing fucking 5 fights a week at this rate. So what's going on there?
Pretty crazy, hey? Because he just came off a fight. I'm trying to remember when it was. Maybe was it 4 weeks ago or something, where he fought a spooky skeleton. Absolutely the scariest fighter I've ever seen. Oh my
God. Just on the topic there, speaking of spooky skeletons, I did a search on YouTube. I searched UFC's scariest walkout. And there is the spooky skeleton himself, Eric Anders' opponent. I can't even remember his name. I know he dug him out of a grave. And they fucking slap. He looks like the anyway. You gotta see it, but check it out sometime. YouTube. It's UFC's scariest walk-in or something like that. If you check that out, you'll howl with laughter. It's hilarious. Anyway, so what? He was up against Eric Anders, and how did that fight end? Did he knock him out early?
No, he fought Tim Williams until the 3rd round, and he actually took quite a bit of a beating throughout the fight. I mean, I wouldn't say that he was. I guess you could say he was in trouble. There was a point when I thought, man, this guy's losing. And then I think there was like 8 seconds to go, maybe 20 seconds to go in the 3rd round. And he knocks Tim Williams out with a fucking brutal head kick. And was just kind of like, oh, sweet, I won. And that was less than a month ago. And he is back to fight an absolute fucking killer, man. I got to say, though, he's my dark horse of the week. I feel like Eric Anders might have learned a lot from that last fight and is going to come out a lot smarter. And maybe we'll see him, shine his brightest fight. Everyone's sleeping on him. He's not that much of an underdog, but I don't think anyone expects him to come back and win on 2 weeks' notice or a week's notice or whatever it was after fighting a month before where he got absolutely smashed in the face. No knockout, but he did take some damage.
Okay, I hear that. I believe that's the 3rd injury on that fight of that fight, right? Because let me see. Oh, well, I forget who it was, but Thiago Santos came in for someone when someone else got hurt. And who was it? Was it Dos Santos? Fuck, I wish I had known this. Let's see here.
We got to start writing down the original matchups because they disappear from the face of the earth once they're gone, it seems.
They disappear quick, hey?
Dana wants you to forget, my man.
Yeah, so it was against Neil Magny. And Neil Magny was originally supposed to be up against what? Gunnar Nelson? No, I can't do it live in public view, but for all intents and purposes, this is the cursed fight of a cursed card. Everyone's getting knocked off, coming back, hitting it up. So we have Thiago Santos, who's ranked number 12, coming in against late replacement Eric Anders, coming off a one fight or coming off of his win 4 weeks ago. Who you got here? You got your boy, or do you have the Lima Marreta himself?
I like Eric Anders, man. He's strong as fuck. I think he knows he's got something to prove after the last fight, and he's going to come in a lot better. And I mean, how the fuck are you going to hate someone who ends a fight on a soccer kick? You never see those. They're barely legal. It's so hard to pull off, but he did it.
So I'm going to take Santos in this one. I think that if we're talking about someone who does know how to bang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang, we're talking about Thiago Santos himself. He comes in, he's got a 67% TKO KO percentage. I mean, come on. That's 6.7 out of 10 fights that he gets in. He knocks that motherfucker out. So that's including losses. It just doesn't happen. He's 18-6 up against, your boy, who's 11-1, which is a pretty impressive record, but only has one fight in the UFC, correct? Or two? Oh, sorry, he just came in off of Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. So he's obviously super athletic. That's one thing that we know. Is he ex-NFL? Is that his deal? NFL?
Yeah, he was an NFL free agent, I believe, and he went to the CFL, then the AFL, and just wasn't into being a second-rate star, so he started fighting.
And now he's going to be a second-rate star when he gets starched by Thiago de Lima Marreta Santos himself.
At least he already has CTE, right? I mean, it's not going to be any additions, so no problem.
Oh my God! So I got Santos for that. Who are you taking Eric Anders on that one?
I told you, man. That's my dark horse of the week. I feel like he's got something to prove. He's going to come out and fight a smarter fight. You know what I mean? There is something to be said about people who, if you don't get knocked out or lose devastatingly, if you come back quickly, you have time to still feel loose. You know, you've processed what happened. It's still fresh. So yeah, he's my pick. He's my dark horse of the week. But Chris, who is your double agent of the week? That is the real question. Agent.
You're looking out there. I'm screening through the fight card. I'm looking who's got a smile on their face, but isn't really that positive. Who's out there thinking happily, but they're not really saying shit that you can believe. Someone who's coming in to wreck the show. And that smile, one smile, seemed to just stick out at me. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. You're gonna have to elaborate.
I'm talking about smiling Sam Alvey, baby. Let's go. I think he's coming in to Nogueira's home city, hometown. He's coming to knock that old motherfucker out. I think he's ready, and he's ready to bang. Although I did pick Nogueira for this. I think that's your double agent. Someone who's coming in, smiling on the outside, but in the inside, he's got that laugh. He's coming to take over, and that's who I'm going to choose for my double agent this week. And that's pretty much all I've got to say on that whole card. It might be a bust. It might be a bang-a-langer. A lot of the time that these cards don't seem pretty exciting, those are the ones that really pan out. And then the ones that are really looking good, like Derek Lewis versus Ngannou, end up 2 thumbs down. You got anything else to say before we close it off here?
No, I feel the same way. I am positive about this card, though. I do like a lot of the fighters on it. Sometimes it's fun to see a bunch of those gatekeepers all fighting each other, and I want to see Sam Alvey win because I watched him beat Kevin Casey by TKO when I watched him fight live in Vancouver. So I was a fan ever since then. So we'll see Sam Alvey and his wife, and in her corner, and hopefully he'll get a W. So yeah, I'm excited for this. And Eric Anders, my boy, let's go.
And of course, it's not too long until we have the king back himself up against that Irish bum. If you've tuned in today, we'd like to thank you. Hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get a notification next time we come on. This is true degenerate shit. See, I can't even say the word. That's how bad it is. With the real MMA media that's coming to take over from these idiots like Ariel, idiots like Luke, idiots like all those other guys, Danny Segura and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, damn, you're taking a shot at the Colombian kid? What did he do? It's the Colombian kid.
Oh, my God. We're tuning out. The fights are live in 23 minutes. Tune in next week. We're probably not going to, or we might talk about Khabib beforehand. It won't be on the Saturday, though. So you're going to have to click that bell so you know when we're going live, because we don't got that shit all wrapped up in tight little packages as if we're MMAfighting.com. We're not. We're CoastMMA.com. Sign up and get your life right, son. Bye.
Peace.